my lovelies. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. Mama D coming at you in the house. Back in Arizona today. Tucson. Nancy Guthrie case. Welcome in, everybody. What I'm about to share with you, I couldn't even get the thumbnail. YouTube would not allow me to do the thumbnail that I needed because this goes far deeper than just bad actors. There are specific connections that all plug right in. Not only do the connections lead to an unrevealed motive that we're about to reveal, possible motive. Well, it's a motive, but did they act on it? Feel me? Okay. But also the timing. So this is going to be heavy. There is a pocket of information. First of all, that little walk down there with Annie boo-hooing the whole way was, I'm just going to be real. It looked staged, put on. I was embarrassed because I'm an empath and I wasn't picking up real grief at all. Savannah didn't even seem to be fussing. It was Annie who couldn't even seem to stand up on her own. She appeared to be mentally unstable, like had to cling to everybody. But no matter how much they cling to tomato, that little duck walk, right? The way he puts them feet. Hey, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, what the hell do you think it is? It's a duck. A lot of people are saying that walk that Tomato did is exactly the masked guy. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be getting into Savannah Guthrie's hubby. We're going to be getting into what his job was, and then what he changed and now does for a living, and how that's connected to something else, and so forth. It's going to get wild. So come on in, get comfortable. Mama D ain't afraid to share it. We're going to get right into it, and what I'm about to share with you is going to be interesting. So we're going to start off with that little walk, but before I do, I want to say hello to my beautiful live audience that are in my chat. You guys are so wonderful for tuning in. Thank you to my beautiful mods. And hello, Ash Cash. Hey, Passion Flower, Tammy, Linda, Marty, thank you for that order. I've been getting a lot of orders during the week. Bless you all. That keeps Mama D being able to be the voice for the voiceless. Greatly appreciate that. And as well, thank you at home, my beautiful replay crew, or maybe you're on the live but just not in the chat. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for hitting all the likes and the subscribers. And our channel is growing, and you guys are doing that. It's you. And I'm just thankful every day to have you in my life. Now, when we're talking about the Guthrie family, let's be clear right off the bat. Sheriff Banana Nanos is saying the family is cleared in one breath. Then in the next breath, he's like, nobody's cleared. So at this point, you get to choose whichever day or whatever face you want to listen to of the sheriff, whether it's the left side, the right side, the middle. Now, another thing I want to clear up real quick is I am absolutely not political. I don't care what y'all want me to be. I'm not. I've already went after the whole idea that Trump could have been maybe involved to distract something, and I'm not ruling it out. But now it's time to hit over on the other side of the coin. So, with that being said, I found some things that just are shocking to me. And I can't wait to share them with you. How's everybody doing? Hi, Ziona. Hi, Lisbon. Jennyville, Nikki UK. Zozo's here, seeking justice. a lot of beautiful faces. Jennifer Swain, I have to tell on you. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's your birthday. So happy birthday to you. She's gonna kill me, but I did it anyway. So you guys, oh, Mr. Tommaso. I was going to do a whole thing where I record Tommaso walking and I record the perp walking, the masked perp on the porch, and do the comparison. But there's a lovely gentleman, Joseph Morris, that already did that, and so I've grabbed his clip. Why do it twice? By the way, I'm self-sponsoring, and that's how I pay my bills. And I use the shop 1111dex.com, and this is Jersey Girls Artisan Lotion, raw cow's milk. It's absolutely wonderful. I use it absolutely every single day. I truly, truly do. And I send samples out with every single order, and that's why we sell so much of it, because once you use this all natural, and I'm bathing in it as usual. Yeah, weird vibes. I do too. And after watching this little clip and what I'm about to break down with Tommaso, he's so high on my list for being the porch guy. He's my number one person of interest. My POI. Not my PI. My person of interest. POI. Like, I was waiting on that man to get on camera and walk. That's all I wanted. Because they still have not released Annie Guthrie's car, which is the one Tommaso used, allegedly, to take Nancy Guthrie home. Then that means that Tommaso would have been the last one to see her before she was abducted. If she was abducted. If she was abducted. You're like, well, we know she was abducted, do we? Do we know she was abducted? I can't say that I know she was abducted. The blood? Oh, there's blood. So you think that means she was abducted. Why are there no footprints? No disturbance. It's so gravity dropped blood. Like plop, plop, fizz, fizz. I don't think that the blood is necessarily coming directly from Nancy. I feel it's staged. I feel it was staged outside on purpose. We have a delay in the 911 call, even though they would have seen the blood if they went to the house and been like, oh my God, there's blood. Call 911. Mom's gone. That didn't happen. They were all like, oh, we got it. No. There's a 41-minute time frame, and that they break into the home. And then before Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker disconnects, was she packing her bags? Were they like, come on, sweetheart. Come on, let's go. We got to go on a trip. Yeah, we're not trying to... Were they really nice? Just let her pack her things. I don't know. A little Cessna, took off at 4 a.m. Just right after Nancy goes missing, a little Cessna takes off. A lot of questions there. And so this is about to get wild. And I'm sure there's going to be some backlash to what I'm about to share. But God is my protector, and no one can harm me, not even spiritually, because I am protected by the blood of Jesus. I am also very much in love with my life. I would never do anything ever to harm myself in any way, ever. So I need to say that, because what I'm about to share with you, it could put me in a little bit of whatever. We're going to go with it. Just got to do it. Jason Bourne says, stranger danger. They didn't know how bad her health was. I don't believe so. I don't think it was a stranger. You might. A lot of you might be like, well, it was a stranger. I don't think so. No. There were too many cameras all connected at one time. They knew where the cameras were. Not just outside, but they had to have known where the cameras were inside. When cameras all go offline, boom, 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 boom. This is a set. This is somebody that not only knows where the cameras are, they already know how to disconnect them. There's a lot to this. There's no struggle, so it's almost as if the victim didn't even fight back. Now, we started saying all this, and all of a sudden rumors started coming out. Rumors, and that's all they are, is that there was blood in the bed and possibly semen and da-da-da-da. I don't believe all that. I don't believe the bed sheets were missing. I don't believe they have semen. They would have put that through Codex. That would have been a full spectrum of DNA. I don't believe any of that. So, I'm trying to just here we go. Let's get into this. Let's go deep. Okay, this is Joseph Morris. I'm going to go ahead and take chat off for just a minute. Let's give this a little play.
So does fit the profile in height, gait, and body fat, and points out similarities to how his right arm just dangles.
Okay, hold on. Let's just get to the point here because I have something I want to show you. Right here, there's something so specific in the way that the perpetrator walks, and it is very, very distinctive. I'm coming up to top side. So the feet of a person, the gait as they walk, it can be very close to a fingerprint in a sense. Not as good, but it can be very close. And it's because we each have a way that we turn our feet. We have a different way of where we place our weight when we walk, right? Some people walk a little bit over on the left or over on the right. Some people turn one foot in, right? And they walk like a pigeon toe. Maybe they're fully pigeon toed. Some people walk just straight forward. Other people, they put their feet out like a duck. But along with this little duck walk that the perpetrator does, he does a little something different with his foot. And I'm going to show it to you. I want you to pay close attention. So this is the foot. Instead of just taking the step, he kind of comes at it like a swiping down. He takes his foot and he swipes him down. The perpetrator hangs his arm that he's not using down to his side and just lets it dangle, very comfortable with a dangly arm. So does Tomato. When the perpetrator bends over, he has a stiff knee. So does Tomato. I was like, well, it can't be Tomato because they told us he was 6 foot tall. And they frickin' lied through their nose. Absolutely lied to us. Lied to our face. Because I happen to know for a fact that Savannah Guthrie is 5'9". And Tommaso is walking next to her, and they are the same height. He is not no 6 foot. He's exactly 5'9" to 5'10". So's the perp. All right, let's get into this. Watch this walk. First, I want you to pay attention over here on this side, at this foot right here, the way that he carries this foot. Watch. Now I'm going to kind of hush right there, Joseph Morris. And do you see how when he does it, he boom? Okay, let me show you. So he goes like this. He goes to put his foot down, but at the very last minute, he does this outside turn of his foot. So he takes a step, turns it, puts it down. He takes a step. At the last second, he always ducks his foot. He turns it out. So it's a really interesting gait. All right, so let's review that one more time. Let's back it up. Okay, here we go. Do you see how he really exposes the inside of that foot with every step he takes? And as he puts his foot down, he is full-blown duck mode. Now, let's watch the perpetrator with his walking back toward us. So now we're looking at this side of the screen after he gets the weeds. Okay, here we go. See that foot? Ooh! Ooh! Okay. Hold on. As the perpetrator places his foot, he comes down, like I said, he comes down, and then he goes out with his foot, but he curls the toes way up and lays the sole of the shoe, then the toes. Some people walk that way, some people don't. Some people just slap their foot down. But this perpetrator has a very unique walk. He lays his foot towards the direction he's going. Then he turns that foot, and then he curls them toes up and lays it down. That's the perpetrator. So does Tommaso. So let's go back. I want you to just watch both of these together. Let's see where he's approaching. Man, everything about this is just screaming to me. There's that foot. He's slow, he's methodical. He dangles that one arm just like that when he bends over to put the flowers down. Modern Muse says, I think you're absolutely correct. And Savannah's got a little bit of a heel on her shoe. But you say he seems shorter, a little shorter than Savannah. Tammy says, I also believe it is Tomato and his wife knows, and I think it's over money. I thought this from the beginning. Oh, what I'm about to show you, you're going to have a whole, like, mind-blowing, absolute mind-blowing moment. Aw, thank you, Zozo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lauren says, I liked you. I don't know. Now seemingly saying the masked man is actually Tommaso. Sorry, wasted time. Well, goodbye. I didn't say it was him. I said they walked the same. But hey, if your like is based on agreeing with everything I have to say, then just don't give me a like, because you're not going to agree with everything I always have to say. I'm not a yes man. I'm not here to talk in a certain... My opinion doesn't need anybody's approval. Your opinion doesn't need anybody's approval. If you can't like me and still disagree, then you have no business here. You're just not welcome. So bye-bye. Annie sure did put on a show with all the crying. Oh my golly. What was all that? Come on. It was ridiculous. They had seen those flowers out there how many frickin' weeks? I really feel that this dude walks so much. He had, Dragonfly says he had a hip replacement. It will throw off the gait. Look how strongly he turns them feet out, just like the perpetrator. Doesn't mean it's him. I'm just saying they walk very similar. Jason says, I'm trying so hard, but just can't see the family is involved. But you still get my like, and I love you. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you. Righteous Monkey, hello. Tommaso walks more feminine than the masked guy, in my opinion. He walks feminine? Wow, I don't see that. How old is Tommaso? Not sure, Passion Flower. Why did he appear in public? He will be called out. I'm not the only one that thinks this. And remember, their car is still impounded. Arjum and Maul, he may be off balance trying to walk in step with two women such differing heights. Well, could be, but he walks very similar to the perp. Wow, never seen that rude side of me. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to see it right now. I will not be bullied by anyone to simply come out and agree with everybody so that I get likes and views. I'm a channel that I share my own opinion. I share your opinion. And if we differ, that's absolutely fine. I don't care. I appreciate your opinion. I love that you guys have a different opinion than me. But I don't appreciate anyone coming in and going, oh, I liked you until you didn't say what I wanted you to. Then get the hell off my channel. Because I'm not going to deal with that kind of, coercion. I'm not. Tommaso is not too big. Tommaso is the same height and approximately the same weight. Absolute Results says, did you put these two videos together or did you find this online? I found it online. I've shared the person. This is Joseph Morris. And I explained that this is put together by him, where he's showing the two videos side by side. Elisa says, it sure likes the same walk. It looks very close. That's right. We show respect to each other. Unless somebody doesn't give it, then don't share it. Right? Carolyn says, just notice both the Masked Man and Tommaso have a very short neck. Let's look at that. He does have a short neck, doesn't he? Yeah, his build is very, very crazy. Modern Muse, Mama, these bots need to find other channel to bother. This is your channel. Where are the mods? Our mods are doing their thing. They're doing a good thing. Jason says, do we see eye and eyebrow comparisons before? And I said I agreed that it could very easily be Tommaso. Archmund says, I would have gone at night for privacy. Good point. Cheryl says, T came back to lay down a flower to show everyone his innocence, in your opinion. Thank you, lovely. Modern Mouse, I'm commenting, oh, each rude post. I'm sure you're handling it just fine. This is your channel again. Came off wrong. I'm happy to see you. Stand up for yourself. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lisbon. Righteous Monkey the Perp has more glutes than Tommaso as well. Might be. I don't think so, but that's your opinion. Barbara Russo, OMG, unbelievable. How this blows me away. I wonder, does Savannah know or suspect this? Annie put on a show with all her noises. Passion flower. I agree with you. Yeah, it's going to get hectic. All right, you guys. So, they still have Annie Guthrie's car. That's not normal in a missing persons investigation to still be, to have confiscated the car and kept it and impounded it. That's not normal. That's not how true crime normally works. And for it not to be released. Okay, let me put this in perspective. Luke Daly has given an interview, and in it he explains he is innocent. And he also explains that his car was detained, it was impounded, and that he got it back already, and that it was covered in basically a white substance, which is fingerprinting and so forth, right? But you know who didn't get their car back? Is Annie and Tommaso. All right. Jamie Graham, thank you for double checking the gate. Look at the feet placement. It's absurd. It's wild. Absolute says, I heard the sheriff looked at the body in the desert. Do you know about that? There wasn't a body found. They went with a GPS location. The sheriff sent some of his deputies out there to look for a body with the latitude, longitude, and didn't find nothing. Gatewalk is huge, and that is just wild. I'll let you look at it one more time. We're going to be jumping into some heavy stuff, so let's get this going. The knees, the bending, that walk, OMG. The placement of the foot. That is a wild moment for me. That is a wild moment. Jason says because Annie's car was the last known transportation for Nancy, so they hold it in case more evidence emerge. That's not really how it works. Most cases, they don't impound the last car a victim drove home from. Jack and Lily's case in Canada. You could be like, well, that's Canada. Most cases. In fact, I've never ever seen it where they detained, like they didn't even detain Chris and Katie's Proudfoot's car when Sebastian went missing, and that her car was the last one that Sebastian rode home on and last everything. It doesn't normally happen. That's not normal. That is not something that happens. And I've talked to, I've listened to detectives that have been in the business, and they're saying, no, that's not normal. And for it not to be released is beyond not normal. Jimmy Graham says, I'm still all about that foot placement. Yep. That foot placement is just wild. It's crazy to me. Hello, Salon. Hello, hello. Animal mother. Dude, cops will impound and keep your keys out even and never give them back. Well, that's not usually the case. That's bad neighborhood or something you're in. I'm not sure. Lisbon says, sorry, no offense, unspoken, but what other shaped door? I'm aware there is a round door, but these are between. I'm unsure. I must be not meaning to read that. People in distress are also in denial. Well, you guys aren't going to like what I have to say, I'll tell you that much, if you are not understanding what I'm saying right now. All right, let's get into it. Let's just break it up. So this is Mark Feldman, and this is Savannah's husband. And the reason I'm bringing this up is we're going to talk about this. Feldman has a political background, according to the consultancy, firm FGS Global. He worked as a Democrat political aide for 8 years in the Clinton-Gore White House. During that time, Feldman held various roles for Vice President Al Gore, including senior advisor and traveling chief of staff. He also served as one of the chief liaisons to Congress for the Clinton administration. Before that, Feldman was a legislative analyst in the Democratic Policy Committee for the Senate Democrat leadership. In other words, my lovelies, he was allegedly the scrubber for the Clintons. He was the PR guy, making sure that nothing negative ever got out there about Clintons, protecting the Clintons and Al Gore. And after he did that, he co-founded, in other words, there was one and him, another and him, co-founded the FGS Global. Eventually, Feldman stepped out of politics and into business consulting. He began working as a consultant and is a founding partner. Make sure you catch that. A founding partner of the North American co-chairman of FGS Global, an international communications consulting and advocacy firm. According to his biography, Feldman co-founded a public relations firm, the Glover Park Group, in 2001. GPG later joined forces with other consulting firms to create FGS. In his work, Feldman directs communication strategy for a variety of corporations, nonprofits, advocacy organizations, and individuals. He has also worked in the entertainment world. In June of 2022, Guthrie interviewed Amber Heard and the defamation trial between her and Johnny Depp. Guthrie prefaced the segment with the statement that Feldman had done consulting work for Depp's legal team, although not in connection with the Guthrie interview. So, Mark Feldman, during the Clinton-Gore White House era from 1993 to 2001, Mike Feldman, Savannah's husband, served in various leadership roles on behalf of Vice President Al Gore, including senior advisor and traveling chief of staff, according to his official bio. He also served as one of the Clinton's administration's chief liaison to the United States Congress, providing advice and strategy counseling in order to forward the president's congressional agenda. And from the looks of things, he's still on good terms with our nation's leaders. Last month, he tweeted a behind-the-scenes picture of Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George H. Bush, and Jimmy Carter, and George W. Bush's presidential library opening. Let me grab a drink real quick. This is about to get really wild. Are you ready? Trigger warning. I am in the Justice DOJ files for Epstein. Begin forward message Kelly Friendly from January 7th, 2015. It says, idea for Jeffrey E. This is what it says. Perhaps you should suggest Jeffrey talk to Joe Lockhart at the Glover Park Group. He has helped Clinton and Janira Patriots. Joe is great and he likes you a lot. LMK, if yo want to reach out to him, he is an old friend. So the person working for the company, Joe Lockhart at the Glover Park Group, is an old friend to this Kelly Friendly, and they're suggesting that they might need to go get help for Jeffrey, a new PR guy. And they're suggesting that they go get help from the Glover Park Group. Now, I don't know if that matters or not, but just so happens that the very month, because actually Nancy Guthrie wasn't removed from her home technically until February 1st, sometime in the morning, which happened to be a full moon. Now we get into what was happening that month. Is it just coincidence? Maybe. Maybe I'm just crazy with conspiracy, whatever. But here you go. You got the Clintons, and what are they doing this month, you guys? What are they doing right now? Like 33 days, and it's the 3rd of March today, 33 days after Nancy Guthrie goes missing. And it was even shorter than that because it was February 27th. Or was it the 26th? I'll have to look. Is when the Clintons are having their depositions all about J.E. And this is when they're going to be scrutinized. They're going to have to give testimony about what do they know about Jeffrey Epstein. So I began to wonder, how much of a coincidence is it that Savannah's husband is the alleged scrubber for the Clintons and always out there to protect the Clintons? Big, huge Democrat. They're so Democratic. And their Democratic people that they worked for are coming up on depo in less than 30 days from the time. In fact, less than 27 days when Nancy Guthrie goes missing. Anybody else like going, wait a freaking minute? So I got to look and it was so interesting. I started piecing this together. I'm like, 3 o'clock in the morning, Nancy Guthrie is out of there, right? So there's the 3. All right, so it was like 2:58, which 3 o'clock. All right, so there's a 3. First time that we get a ransom, according to TMZ, whether it's real or not, who knows, is on February 3rd. Interesting. I get to thinking about it. What did they ask for? They asked for $6 million and said that Nancy Guthrie was within 12 hours. They needed 12 hours. Well, 6 million, and then divide that 12 up. You could look at it as, 1 plus 2 is 3, or you could look at it as taking 2 6s to make a 12. So you got 6 million, 12 hours. That's another way to say 666, which is, okay, some people use that number in a negative way. I thought that was weird. So that was some of the weird things. Now, when it comes to the Clintons, yeah, the whole 333 Mason, 33 Mason, right? I totally get you. When it comes to the Clintons, I'm like, all right, let me understand this. How would this work? Well, it would just simply be that they would need insiders that they could trust to be like, Mom, you've got to get relocated. We've had death threats on our family. You've got to come with us. And Nancy would be like, let me get a bag. Right? And then the Cessna plane. 4 o'clock in the morning. In that, nobody's going to be looking at the depositions. Right? And it's a full moon. So you can see good to get into the car. Could take you 41 minutes. And he's like, oh, and I forgot this and I forgot that. I meant Nancy if I said Annie. It just wraps up so neat and tidy. They never even looked for the woman, really. Sheriff called it off right away. 2 days in, he was like, yeah, there's no point in looking for the lady, I guess. No, you'd have to have a permit. We don't even want anybody out there looking. So, it's really weird how Savannah quoted Silence of the Lambs. Got to thinking about how a lot of these politicians see us, the mass of people, as sheep. And if we're sheep, our children are the lambs, right? You're the sheep, or if you're male, you're a ram. But if you're a child, you would be a lamb. Thought how interesting, silencing of the lamb. And then I thought, oh, silencing the sheep. So the way to silence the sheep and not get them talking over here about the depots that the Clintons are giving is to cause a massive distraction over here. We've all said something's wrong with the case. They didn't even look for her. They forgot to do normal things that are done in an investigation, like hold the crime scene. Like, we have major investigators that have retired, and they're all like, this makes no sense. I just can't believe this isn't done. I can't believe that wasn't done. I can't believe this wasn't done. Like, they didn't even take the mat that had the blood that was on the steps. And we're like, why is that? They didn't treat it like a crime scene. Like, when I was on the force, these, People say, they're like, we would have never done that. First thing we would have done is secured the scene. Nobody would have crossed paths. We would have been basically doing it as, processing the scene for quite a long time. But they didn't. We got Gilligan, which is Sheriff Bananos, out here. That's like, they took her right out of the bed. And then the next day he's like, well, I didn't know you were going to take me, like, literal. Something's weird. I don't believe it was real. I'm just not believing it was real. I think it was a distraction. I got readings that told me it had to do with politics. I got readings that were telling me it had to do with Epstein. I thought maybe it would be Trumpy Dumpy Humpty Dumpty that built the wall. But no, it's a Billy Nilly Willy over here and his horrible wife, Hillary. I can't even stand it. I choke on her name. I can't stand politicians. Period. None of them. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm going to go into here comes Truth Train. Can't make this up. Sheriff is an idiot. I just want him out. I live in Tucson. I totally feel for you, Castle. I really do. Arjumon D. Maho. Funny you say that. I'm wondering if the family has been receiving threats from anyone. Don't know. Why not Trump hiring a clandestine Mexican outfit to punish Savannah for the harsh 2020 town hall? Send messages to other journals. Well, you can go that route. You can have any opinion you would like, and I respect it. Marie says it looks as if Thomas was limping a little, something wrong with the hip, but yes, definitely same gait as the video on Nancy's porch. Hope Ellie noticed the similarities. I've heard the Clintons have KILLED, Brady's mama. Outed many? No, I'm not in Tucson. Nando described as sheriff is politicians by locals. He could be a player, right? Trump used Silence of the Lamb, Hannibal Lecter eating fava brains as he eats you in every rally. Trump also hit list, then you have for it. Well, y'all can believe however you want. I'm just bringing this out that the actual connection is that Savannah Guthrie's husband was working for the Clintons, and his job was to protect the Clintons. It happens to be the same month, that Nancy Guthrie is abducted, that the Clintons are being called in for their depositions for the JE case. I find that very, very, very strange. When we think of the crime scene, the way it was treated, when they're not looking for the victim. I was screaming early on, why isn't this normal? Why aren't they searching? Why aren't they looking? And then we never got no ransom. This wasn't about a ransom. This wasn't about a ransom. This was not that kind of way. Now, isn't it interesting how, like, in March of this past year, Tommaso and Tomato and Annie can buy their house, but yet he's not even working as a teacher, from my understand, and she's not even got really an income, but it's a $750,000 house. So where'd they get that money? Where'd they get that money? Make you wonder, huh? Made me wonder. Mrs. Clinton, according to Liam, hi Liam, says, Liam's opinion says Mrs. Clinton started the war with Russia and Ukraine, so she's killed millions, to be honest, in my opinion. Thank you for sharing your opinion. How many players involved? Rough estimate? I don't know. I hate the sheriff, and I don't even know who his deputy is. Betty Carter says one thing is for sure, you can't fool the public. It's coming out, y'all. Liam Hillary is Jim Carrey's cousin right down the line. I don't believe that, Nikki UK. You'd have to get me something. You'd have to get me some proof of that. I mean, I love you, but I would just be shocked. You'd have to prove that. Hard copy. Jason Bourne, but can we say the ransom letters were 100% debunked? Well, did they get paid? They didn't look real. I don't know. That's something. I can't say either way on any of this. I'm just giving you my opinion. I remind you, this is just thoughts. It's theory. Doesn't mean it's for real. I don't know. I have no idea if the Clintons would have paid off Tommaso and Annie, and maybe that way Savannah could retire if she got money too. And that way everybody, like, you know, the whole world would be looking over here at this beautiful 84-year-old woman that we're like, who would do that? Right? Meanwhile, they're back over here going, yes, I knew Jeffrey. Yes, I was on the plane with him. I had Nancy gave them 3. Well, that's just what you heard, Rhapsody. But that doesn't. Rhapsody in Ribbons is saying I heard Nancy gave them 320. Y'all, if I were to tell you everything I've heard, I heard a lot of stupid crap. Doesn't mean it's right. I don't think Nancy gave them any money because she's refinanced her house now 3 times. She don't have no money. Nancy didn't have money. So how is she giving money to Tommaso Tomato? I just don't see it. Hey, Danny boy. Oh, the notifications are wonky. Well, like I said, this is going to be, you know, something I'm sure YouTube ain't too proud I'm putting out. So, like, whatever. Stack says, did everyone see the cell phone or the light in the corner when the perp tried to cover the camera? To me, it wasn't a cell phone. To me, it looked like a walkie-talkie. And the perp that has the mask looks like he has a walkie-talkie in his little pocket. Politics are dirty. I always say politicians are, it's just crap. And so to pick a politician for me is like trying to choose a dirty turd out of a bucket. They're all turds. They're all dirty. They all stinky. That's how I feel. Jenny Phil says they haven't talked about ransom in days. Anyone in charge? I don't know, lovely. Yeah, Tommaso does not appear to have a job. Annie doesn't. Annie's a poet, right? And didn't even know it. She makes some jewelry, right? She takes little wire clippers and makes jewelry. But yet they have a $750,000 house. That they just got. Somebody gonna tell for $1 million? Why is it so quiet? Unless they already got paid. Maria says Nancy worked and perhaps saved and invested and never know what her buck left her. Good point. Yes, walkie-talkies. That's, I think, too, Castle. Also weird that Tucson PD has a show pending. Oh, what kind of a show? Husband left her. Her husband passed away. Yeah, polish a turd. You can't polish a turd. JC, hello, welcome back. In early February, Tommaso was no longer employed as a teacher, as per Google. Thank you, lovely. That's true. Samantha says, I too at one point thought it was just another Clinton body count, but after the way that my dog reacted to seeing S and A and T visiting Flower Memorial yesterday, I'm sickened. Could she have remortgaged her house 3 times to pay the money to whoever? I don't know, lovely. Hi, Court Star. I haven't seen you in a while. Andrea Smith. If you look up Derek Khalili's bowl legs, they look like the perp. Well, he's been arrested. About Tomato being involved. Oh, Lord. Annie's going to write another book. Tommaso and Annie taking advantage of Nancy. Tommaso has taught for 20 years. Teachers do not make much. They sure can't afford. No, $750,000 house. I was a teacher. Typo error, not bucketed. What? I don't know, lovely. I don't know. Please, no caps. Y'all, I'm dyslexic. If I see all caps, I'll usually skip it. unless it's just one or two words. His own cop show, Mama D. Oh, Lord. Gilbert, they have a reality show pending. Desert Law will add them to the episodes. Lord. Castle says, in Castle's opinion, Tommaso involved, but don't think he is the doorman. Okay? And I'm still trying to find the answers as to why the sheriff is dropping the ball on all this. Because it's not his job to solve the crime if he got paid for something else. Is a possibility. Cheryl, I can see T&A always being in need of money. Range Rovers are very costly. If you know, you know. Oh, that's too funny. Kathy says, show called Desert Law. And what if Nancy made a surprise visit to Annie's Uber? I don't know, lovely. I love you too, Liam. Rua says, wouldn't there be equity? I'm like, inquiry? Wouldn't there be equity from selling their other house? Was it going to be that much money? I doubt it. Sheriff stated today they are definitely closer to solving the case. Well, good deal. All right, my lovelies. What did you say, Absolute? I think the Clintons are part of the EJ network, as is Trump, isn't it, too? Other powerful men who have a reason to derail the media before SOTU, then depositions. Aline Cannon released Jack Smith. Okay. Thank you, lovely. Liam got detention. Why? Oh my gosh, he did it in all caps. Liam's always starting stuff. Andrea Smith, it will be amazing when the truth is revealed. I agree. We got to get off here, you guys, because I want to come back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to pull cards. I want to understand who are the faces behind this. If I get the Emperor, that is going to say, I'm going to name the people ahead of time so that if that card comes out, then the cards are naming them, not me. All right? We're going to pull cards. And then I'm going to, after my reading, we're going to come back on another live because I'm all lit up today, like on fire. And I'm going to let you guys ask the questions. We're going to hand it over to our private eyes. You guys can ask the questions. It is going to be very strong reading, I truly feel, because we've been leading up to this. We've been getting the all-powerful kings surrounding this. We've been getting this child. And I'm like, what is going on? Child and lovers. And I'm like, that reminds me of the Epsteins. Why am I getting child and lovers? That's never should be in the same sentence. It's coming out in the cards. And those that have been watching along with me as I've been doing the cards and answering the questions are seeing that this is all about to come to a pivotal point. So with that, my lovelies, there will be a slight wait just for me to change over my cameras. But I want to say thank you. Thank you personally for all the likes, all the subscriptions, for being a member. I just greatly appreciate it. For being a mod, thank you to each of you. Thank you to my replay crew. Thank you to my live audience. I appreciate every single one of you so very much. I love you to the moon and back. And I'll see you again very soon, like 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed in the shadow. From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed in the shadows. My enemies will think they won, but I am here to stay. Destiny will overcome, no, I am not afraid. Like a phoenix in the night, my soul will rise. From the darkness to